so long. And I got this off, but oh, we're not done. We're not done with the issues. Let me explain before we get done here. Welcome to the show. If you're just tuning in, you didn't catch the last little live thing I did. We're going to check all these reels. I was fighting this thing to get it off, and it pops right off once you put a little power into it. Anyway, so that's not the issue. We got it off, okay? There it is. It is a 3-piece, basically. Here's the issue I got now. Now, I was so worried about because I saw that guide was way off, you know. I didn't pay attention. I don't know if you guys will be able to make it out. But do you guys see what else is off? This and that are not lined up right. It's hard to see. But this off to the right. I mean, a reel to screw on, that's the thing. I put a couple different reels on there. I was showing you guys what they look like and everything. And you put it on, it goes right on. And I didn't notice it until I got the other end off and I started looking. But I honestly think when you're looking at it, you can see the reel is turned to the right. See that? So I think the minute you start, you know, cast and reeling in, it's going to cause your line to bunch up over there. So it's a problem. So this freaking rod is like a nightmare. I cannot definitely recommend buying one of these. Shipping was crazy fast. It kind of looks cool, feels cheap. It's don't get a 6.6 if you get one. It's very noodly. If you do get one, get either the shortest. No, I'd recommend no longer than 5.6. I think they make one even shorter, but the main part is real soft too. So it'd probably make a good rod for creeks and streams, but not that long. 6'6" is way too long. But the issue I'm having, and the only way I know to change it, and I guess it's a simple enough fix, would be to, because it's got a little line guide, like a little guide right there. And if you look from underneath, you can kind of see that it's just off. If it wasn't for the fact that you can't, like when you tighten the reel down, it's got it cocked off. I mean, I could go out and just throw it, you know, cast as far as I can, reel it back and see what it does, but I'm almost positive it's going to bunch the line up. When it turns like that, it's going to restrict the line from going over here where it needs to. It's going to bunch up. I'd almost swear to it that that's what's going to happen. I don't know if I've got a skinnier reel. I don't know. Let me put the smallest. But they screw on. This has got more of a point also. You can kind of see. I don't know if you guys can make that out or not. Yeah, it actually doesn't look as bad with that reel on it. Maybe try a fatter reel. So anyway, I'm getting ready to do a test here, but I'm still struggling with this rod that I just got in. Yeah, I can definitely see that it's off. I don't know if you guys can tell by that shot. It just kicks it out just enough up front that it's going to be an issue. So anyway, I figured out that yes, it comes apart, so that's not going to be an issue, but now that's going to be an issue, and I got to figure out how to fix it. And I think the only thing is, say if I grind this thing off, I'll show you what I'm talking about. It'd be hard to do because it's internal. So technically, I could come in here and smooth that down to where this will turn wherever. But then you got an issue when you do put it on and tighten it up of it staying where you want it, since that's not there to hold it. So, I don't know. Wow. The things I deal with. All right, enough about this rod. I'm going to go throw it in the trash. I don't know. I guess I should make a gripe and like I did on this guy, and at least get some kind of adjustment for all the hassle I've had with that thing. I guess the two-piece being stuck together, I think they just went overboard. Whoever jammed it together, or in shipping, it just jammed it like it was stuck. But that part come unloose. So anyway, on to the show. The main show is about ready to start. What I'm going to do, and I've got all my reels, all my BFS reels are out. And it's going to be hard to do because I don't have any bright line. This is only 2-pound test. The longest one is 2-pound. This is how I can tell which is which. The longest is 2. The middle is actually 8. And I just happened to, when I was trying to get the 6 and 8 out, I decided to cut the 6 way down to where I could tell it was, because 6 and 8 in the naked eye to me, my eyes, I can't tell the difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with 8. There's no need to start with 6 or 2 if the 8 goes right in between the gap. So we're going to check the gap with that isn't it, that's 2-pound. It's on the reel. So we got 8-pound test. I know a lot of you guys fish with less, but until we check it for some of us that use others. Can you guys see that line? I got that kid messaging me again about the RC stuff. I'm selling a lot. I'm not getting out of RC racing, but I've got a lot of stuff. So I've sold one truggy to a kid last night. I got a buggy I still need to sell. And then I still got 2 trucks and a 4-wheel drive buggy. And Noah's got his 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive buggy. That's all 10 scale. Then Noah still has a gas 8 scale and electric 8 scale. And that's all we're keeping. On to the show. I'm going to check this reel because it shouldn't have any gaps, or I shouldn't be able to put it in there. I'm going to try to do it where you guys can see what I'm doing. And all I'm doing to test is I'm doubling it up, making this little thing, and I'm just going to poke it in there. And if it goes in, I'll let you know. If it don't, I'll let you know. Okay. If you guys can make out by how I don't know if you can see that. But see how it's like mushing and it's not going. So 8 pounds will not go in there. We'll check both sides. It doesn't seem to go. Okay. She cleared the 8-pound test. While I'm holding it, it's so hard to get like that. I'm actually we'll check that one. So that one's good to go. We'll go down to 6 and 2. I'm just going to do the clamber since it's right here. It looks very tight tolerances. It's hard to do holding it where you guys can see, and I need to be able to see on the outside. So 8 pound on the clamber, good to go. So if you're fishing 8, 10, or whatever, and probably even 10-pound braid or whatever, no issues. We'll jump right to this guy. Yeah, I think that one goes in. I think I'm seeing it go. Not so much over here. Yeah, it's iffy. It's like it starts to go, then it stops. So I think there, though, I think I'm going in and it's actually hitting the other side. I think it goes in. Can you guys see what I'm doing? See how it goes for a little while, then it starts to mush, but I think it is what I would call, could be. It's hard to tell because you got that dark gray and black. Can't tell if I can physically or actually see a gap, but it's going in a little bit further than these other reels anyway. So that one, I don't know. This one, I know the 2 went right in. Let me get that 2-pound test out of the way. Don't worry, I'll find the end later. That'll be another nightmare I'm dealing with. 8 pound, no. It didn't even start to go. 8 pound does not start to go on that side. Nope. it started to, I thought, in a spot there, but no. It's definitely, I think the tolerance isn't as good on that side. Over here, like you can just tell it, there's no way, you don't even want to start to go. So I'd call this a pass on 8. This one I'm still worried about. Let's check Spirit Fox, which should be the same, but I've also got one over there. Nope. It's kind of the same as that. Like the line starts to disappear, but then it stops real quick. So I think it's just like the Black Knight. This should be the same. Yeah, that's this one. These are fine. This one is the only one in question. I'll double check it when I'm done with these others. Let's see. That's the old dog. It don't matter. This thing, you want to throw a big line on it anyway. But no. Hang on. I got line in my way. No, right there is questionable, but right here, no. That's probably the tightest I've seen other than these three anyway. You guys recognize this one? Let's see. Last one with 8-pound. I'm going to double check the. Now there should be no way they've updated it with that thing. Yeah, they don't even think about going in there. This side. Oh, it starts to go. It's weird. Like all of these reels, these 5 reels on the handle side, it's like it starts to, it definitely isn't like on this side. On all these, this side, like it doesn't even start to go in. Over on the other side, it's kind of it's like I can start to see the line disappear, but then it starts going real quick. So I'm not 100% sure on that one. But I haven't thrown like very light with all these, but I've never had an issue with any of these that I'm throwing braid with. Like when they do bite, I've never had the issue. Not until I threw 2-pound on that. Like, dip, it went once. If you guys haven't seen that video, I tried to throw the trout magnet, and I did. I made it 50 feet. But then it started raining, and something happened, and I had all kinds of backlashes, and 2-pound went inside that once. So the 8-pound test, I consider all of them except maybe this guy passed. So we'll go with the 6 next, but let me try this guy. That tolerance, I definitely look like I could almost swear I see a gap there, but they're both so dark a color. But it just doesn't, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It definitely goes in a little bit on both sides. So this lingle, but I've been casting it with that line that's on it right there. I think that's 10-pound braid. It's supposed to be. Unless Hercules sold me 15-pound braid, them dirty dogs. But I think that I like I said, I'm doing this for you guys that run regular line because I've honestly, once I, 2 reels. The one actually Charles has it, and I didn't like it. The 10-pound braid, I had issues on the Phantom, which I don't even think they make that reel. You can't buy it anymore. And then there was an old nasty one called Mr. Charles, which they still make. The T-Rex, Mr. Charles, that thing was horrible too. Okay, so I'm putting 8-pound test down. I think this one is right there iffy with 8-pound. So I'm going to go to 6. And the short one is 6-pound. Unless this is 8. No, I think that's 6. So I'm going to test this guy real quick, just because it's the one we having issues with. Why does this look thicker? This looks like it could be the 8. It's the same deal. I think that's going in. I just don't think the spool's that wide out there. Let's go back to this guy, Aldebaran. Nope, no sign of going in there. it almost, let's check this guy. It kind of did like, I already got the 2 pound going in there. I can see it. It's jamming me up. This will not pass a 2 pound test, I can already tell you. So, no. This may be the 8 pound. That may have been testing it with 6. No way going in there. Let me get that line out of my way. No. Let me see. I can't tell by the naked eye. I could have swore I cut the... I think we tested with 6. Because looking at these, this just is thicker, I think. Anyway, we're going to 2 pound test. I think I was actually testing them all with 6. So I think they all passed with 6 except for this guy. But we're going to test them all with 2. That's what some of you guys run 2 or 4. And that is definitely 2 pound test. And we're going to go right to the guy that, I think this is the worst tolerance out of all of them. I think there's a bigger gap. Yeah, it definitely went in and I felt it get stuck. So yeah, 2 pound test, the lingual will not pass that test. Both sides. So 6, you may be okay. 8, you'll be okay, I think. If you can handle fishing almost that much. So let's go right to this guy first. So we know that guy, he failed. He's failed. I don't care. I like him, and he's staying, and for what I'm using for, I'm going to leave that line on it and keep fishing away. I'm actually going to order another, probably 1 of those, maybe 2. 1 for sure. So 2 pound. Ooh, starts to slide. I don't think any of them are going to pass the 2 pound. This may. And we'll find out. This is just a preliminary little test. I'm actually going to string this exact line I got on this one. Do a trout magnet test coming up, not tonight. I'm going to do, and it won't be a live one. I'm going to make a video seeing how well they'll run 2 pound and cast that. And then I'm sure I'm going to be backlashing and they'll be sticking or not. So I think this may barely pass the 2 pound test. And I'm sure some of you guys maybe use it, and that's where it gets stuck though on this side. It's iffy, but I think it passes. This guy, can you guys see that? This guy's got the tighter. I may need to keep this. I was going to sell this for $100. Nobody jumped on wanting to buy it, but I think it'll handle 2 pound, no problem. Plus, it's so far in there, it's harder. It'd be less likely, maybe, I don't know. But it definitely passes, and it passes for sure. Like right there, you can watch it. It doesn't even start to go in. Like that is the tightest tolerances you'll ever see on a reel. Right there. That is, it doesn't even start. Can you guys make it out? 2 pound test just doesn't even start to. On this one, that's where it starts to go in. Like it just starts and then it stops. So I think this is good too, but that one is possibly even better. I think I'll just keep that painted. I like that little reel. All right, this one sucks, but I love it. Let's go to the Cast King. They put that new deal on, supposedly fix that problem, and I think they did on, let me get that line out of the way. I know it'd be easier to do with all the line off, but I don't have enough extra spools to put all this line on. Okay, I don't think it'll go in on that side. I think it will on this side. Ooh, actually, I mean, it starts to, yeah, I think it will. Yeah. This side, 2 pound, will go in, but they did that one. When they fixed that, they made that update, it's legit on that end. But you can get it in on that side. So that one, I guess technically you could call it a fail. We only got 2 so far, these 2 right here. Get you some Aldebarans and clambers. Wow, what's funny is this dude right here. Oh no, it went. Yeah, you see that? It did go in. So, but it definitely is a tight on that end. Now here, boom. Wow. That just goes right in. No problem. Yeah. But I don't recommend using this thing. This is a tank now. Turn it into one of your like heavier line reels if you got one. Get one of these little dudes. That's already got the 2 pound in it. No need to test it. I think it sticks in both sides. Let's see. Let me get it a little tighter. Actually, I think it'll go in both sides. Yeah. I think, though, honestly, I think 4. Let me set that down for a minute. I think 4 pound, you'd be okay probably with all these except for this guy. So far out of testing them, like that 2 is going in, but it's like barely. I think honestly, if you used, now I know some of you might fish with 2, but I think if you fish with 4, and I do not have any 4 pound test here. I know Charles has some, but 2 will go in, but it's a very tight fit. I think 4 pound you'd be all right. Let's check the remaining ones, which would be the same. Let me see. Hang on. Whoa. Trying to get where you can see and I can see. Yeah, 2 pounds goes right in there. Actually, not so much. It's weird. Over here, they felt tighter, and there was iffy on that 6. I swear there's 2 pounds. It's tight, though. I think these are tighter tolerances than the Black Knight 2. I think the Black Knight 1 is tighter tolerances than the Black Knight 2. Actually, that one's good. Like I'm pushing, but like normally the ones I'll show you, because I don't know if you can, like when I push it in here, I can feel it get stuck, like so it's tight. That's what made me think that like 2 is the limit. Like if you ran 4, it probably wouldn't, because it actually goes in, but then it's kind of tight getting it back out. It's not like real loose. Like this guy right here, I just watch it disappear. No, it's kind of tight in that guy too. Like I can feel it. It takes resistance to pull it back out. So that guy possibly would be all right. Anything over 2. Well, what'd you guys think? Anybody comment yet? I was too busy looking at stuff. Tested with the trout. That's Jay. Tested with the trout magnet today. Found out that the slightest breeze, yeah, could make a 5-foot difference. Yeah, doesn't like rainwater either. I can't. For the life of me, I don't know what was. Well, look at this thing. It's got the line stuck every which way but loose. This is like a Clint Eastwood movie. Look at that. Here's a line out here. You think this one doesn't, the tolerances aren't that great? Well, it's funny. They make this little spool to throw real lightweight baits and deals, but they didn't work on the tolerances enough for you guys that once I get done with this little testing stuff I'm doing, this trout magnet, you will never see me fishing 2-pound test unless somebody challenges me, like to go catch a certain size fish on 2-pound test kind of deal, or I challenge myself, but probably not. So yeah, 2 pound test though. I have fished with let me think, I don't want to lie. I'm pretty sure the lowest I've actually fished for quite a while years ago was 4 pound. I think we had our crappie rods. I think we used 4 pound test on a spinning reel. That was a nightmare. Oh my God. Spinning reels and any line are a nightmare. All right, guys, what did we find out? We found out that this is why this one's still king. Shimano tolerances are there. Now, I don't know about 1 pound or whatever, but they are tight. Says this reel will handle that small line. Should, no problem. We'll find out also, so stay tuned to that. But I was surprised. I guess I never really paid attention. I kind of glanced at it before, thought, wow, that looks like you can't really see a gap. You can almost see one here, the slightest, but that 2 pound wouldn't even go in there. So that reel, let me just show you. Is legit. I'm just telling you right now. I don't know why I can't make myself like it. It's got to be that funky color. Just how that dark with the red. If you guys remember my Metanium with the KTF stuff, it had the I think the drag star was red. It had a red little pop-on deal. I mean, it was just, it looked sweet. It palmed like this big thing. And so I was always trying to put it on. And I'll be honest, the KTF spool was not that impressive. This thing flat smoked it. That 65 at the time, I think they were only $65. Now they're up into 70 something. But that little reel flat smoked it throwing light baits. KTF spool on the Metanium, which was crazy, outrageously priced and all that. But anyway, and then you got guys like this coming out at $120. So yeah, I'm anxious to see. I'm gonna get these. I don't know when. The weather is nasty. You guys, if you watch my little original trout magnet deal, I probably need to reweigh this guy every so often too, because I'm throwing out into the street. That's just where my little spot is, and I got all the nice Missouri roads that give me automatic lines to where I know what the distances are. Yeah, it still weighs 1 gram. It's a little chewed up already. I'm wasting $2.50. I only got one left. That one will not be fishable after we get done with it. I don't know where I put it, but I did make my own. I took a 1/16 ounce, cut enough lead off of it, and then put a homemade tail. I mean, I could have used a trout magnet tail because I got extras, but I put my homemade and I got it to weigh exactly 1 gram. It'll cast just like that one. All right, that's enough. Stay tuned. Be looking forward to this shootout. I'm going to do the rods. If you saw in the last video, all of my ultralight rods, even the ones that like the 522 super ultralight and the other kind, Teton, the 632 ultralight, even though they're solid tipped rods, we're going to do a little shootout between all of them, maybe even this guy if I get things figured out on it. We're going to see how well each rod casts a trout magnet and then how well each reel. So we're going to put this guy more than likely, even though the line jumps in there, on each rod casting that trout magnet and just see which overall ease and mainly distance, because I mean, this is not easy to throw. Just see how far they'll throw it. And then we're going to take probably the best rod, which is probably going to be, I'm just thinking out loud, the Zephyr rod. We're going to put all these reels on with using this line. So I'll rig one up, cast it out when I'm, know what distance it's getting. I'll just peel the line off, leave it on the Zephyr rod. A little chunk of tape there. I'll just peel the tape off, pull the line out, put the other reel on, stick it through, put the little piece of tape down, reel it back up, and then cast the other one. But you won't see any of that. This is going to be these two different tests, I'll use the GoPro and edit them to where you're just watching me switch from one reel to the next, one rod to the next. Yeah, I don't know what line you guys throw, but I would say unless you're going to throw probably 6 pound or bigger, that guy's definitely probably not in your deal. But it's got the heavier spool than this guy now. But this guy, for anybody that was wanting to throw, 2 pound test, yeah, you're going to struggle. I still think though that which line was I using? Hang on. Oh my God. Let me get it. There's the 2. Get it out of the way. I'm not sure. I thought for sure I cut the 6 down shorter than the 8. But then when I had them folded up and looking at them, I'd swear that the 6 is the first one I had and the 8 was a short one because it looks awful thick. Let me compare them again. Hang on. It is so hard to see, but yeah, I'd swear that is thicker. So I was actually, the first test I was going through was with 6. So the 6 pound, and I guess I could just try both of them on there to show you. The 6 pound won't get caught. And just in case this is the 6 pound, but I'm pretty sure this is 8. We were testing with the 6. I'll double check it for you guys. I think this is the 8. But in case it is the 6. No, see, it doesn't. Yeah, this is the 8 because it didn't even, it shows no sign. So now I don't know what I did with that line. I'm also, oh shoot, I use P-Line Original. I can't remember. The packaging's so messed up I can't read what diameter but this is 8 and this was the 6. But it's P-Line Original if you guys want to try to look up what actual diameter that is on the 6 pound, because it may be bigger, smaller, I don't know. But I think on all of these with 6 pound or bigger, you're fine. Now 6 pound braid, but braid doesn't tend to it doesn't unspool and shoot around. Braid kind of just fluffs up and sticks to itself, and it's a whole different thing about backlashing. I don't know if I've ever had in any of these reels or with good tolerances, braid be an issue. Some of these reels will literally have, some of the cheap ones I've had in the past will have like a huge gap. Like you can't miss it. It's a gap that is like, I'd swear, easily 10 pound, like 10 pound test will go in the gap. It's ridiculous how they are. So I'm going to check this guy again. This is the 6 pound. Let's see, here's the thing. The 6 pound, like I can't get it to go in and pull out with resistance like I could. So I don't know if it's just that it's like starting to go in, but it doesn't actually pass the spool up, if you know what I'm saying. Like this line, I can push it in. The 2 pound, I push in and then I can feel it sticking and pulling out. So I know it's like past the whole thing on both sides. I think on both sides. Yeah, on both sides of that reel. But when I go to this line, this was the only reel that I could say it looks like it's going in, but maybe it's not going all the way. If that makes sense. Maybe they've actually got it tapered, like, I would think it's straight across. If it starts to go in, it should go all the way through, but it's not sticking. Wait, there we go. See, so it actually may be okay. It just may have because it does the same on both sides. I can see the line disappear, but it never sticks to where like it goes all the way through. to where the 2-pound will go on a lot of these. It'll go in and it kind of sticks on these two for sure. And this one, I think, weren't these? This one was all right, I think. You guys got me. I don't even remember now. Yeah, see, I can't even get to 2. It doesn't go in and stick like it does on these two. On the yeah, it does there. Wait. No, it doesn't go in and stick on the PW100. It doesn't go in and stick on the Spirit Fox either. Yeah, it sticks. This guy sticks on the crank side with 2-pound test. I thought, well, that line's jumped over there. I want to say I thought it stuck on this side too. Yeah, you can feel it. Yeah, it sticks on both sides with that guy. This guy, the side they fixed, is fine, even with 2-pound. It doesn't seem to want to go in, but this side it goes right in, I think is what was found. Yeah, I think, yeah. Hang on. No, I mean it goes, but it's definitely this. Zephyr has tighter tolerances than these two. The two newest reels, the new kids on the block, definitely do not have as tight of tolerances as the older ones. 2 pounds. 2 pounds will get caught in the new ones. Kind of iffy on the old ones. On the other Black Knight they will too. Not on this guy, not on this guy. I think your Spirit Fox and the PW100 might be doable. All right, anyway, I gotta go. That's 37 minutes. All my videos are long. Is that blurry or is it just me? So, for the line I use, one of these has 6-pound braid. I don't know if it's this reel or maybe I got the braid off right now. But how I fish is most all of my BFS is going to have 10-pound test. Then I change out my leaders. And 10-pound test braid, so far, I've never had an issue with this one or this one. This one, and it actually, Charles calls it 10-pound, but I would say this is not 10-pound braid because he told me it had 10-pound braid and a 10-pound leader, and the leader was definitely not 10-pound. Now it has I think that's 10-pound leader. Heck, I don't remember. I may have switched it. Yeah, I guess that could be 10-pound braid. Yeah, now that I look at it, it probably is 10-pound braid. Different brands will look a little different. The yellow always looks that's definitely a 10-pound leader. I think it is a 6-pound leader. Now that's supposed to be 10. I pulled it right off the spool and said 10. I guess because it's yellow, it just looks so huge, but that's why I like it. I use it like a strike indicator. I run a 6 to 8 foot leader, and then that line, I just watch that line before I even fill the bait. A lot of times I see the line pull or it gets slack before it should have hit the bottom and it didn't, and I watch it kind of go slide. I'm like, uh-oh, there's something on there. Like you can see so much. That's another reason why I like braid. If you guys seen any of my crazy backlashes and I just pull them right out with the braid, you can't do that with this. I mean, it's not too bad, but I love fishing with braid and a leader. I always use a leader. I never don't use a leader. Charles, every once in a while he uses, I don't even know if he means to. I just every once in a while he's like, I don't even have a leader on. Then he'll put a leader on. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you have a leader on? All right. I'm gone. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Let's see if I can figure out this thing. Or I guess I need to figure out, I don't know how to take a picture of that to where it looks, I guess, can you guys make it out? How that's off? Like I can look at it here in person. I can spot it immediately. I'm trying to look through on the viewfinder. I guess, yeah, you can see it. If you guys can make that out. See, that is what I call straight, and you can make out how that's turned off. And then when you hold it like this, that line that should be, you can almost make out, if you really look, you can make out the seam on this, say if it's centered. And it's not by a lot, but it's like the seam would match up to that side. So they are just off by that little bit, which throws your freaking reel off. Christopher Lee said, good morning. You're definitely not from around here because it's night. But good morning. Yeah, the 6, I think you can get by. I think if any of these 6-pound test, you probably won't have an issue. I saw somebody, they were claiming they had an issue. I can't remember what size line on the Facebook page, but 2-pound definitely. There ain't no way I'd go out fishing with 2-pound on either of these without and not expect for it to be getting caught in the spool in the gap, because these two, it definitely will. I actually like these reels, and I was excited to get them when they come out, but I think they rushed production to get them out or something, because the tolerances, they're leaving bearings. This is missing 4 bearings from what it's advertised. This thing's coming out with a spool that's 0.5 grams heavier. And it's like, how hard is it to just make it like this thing was originally? I mean, it was what it said it was. It had the bearings it was to have. The tolerances are good. It just fishes and works. And, same thing with Cast King. And then maybe these guys will do it. Maybe these guys will realize what's going on and they'll change something. And, we'll stop seeing, because these, I guess, I ordered these a long time ago. They took over a month and a half to get here. I don't know. I think they'd been out for a month or so, but. So I'm hoping they fix their quality control issues. And then I don't know why they pulled this one. This guy, I guess, other than the looks, but this reel has none of those issues. But for some reason, I don't like it as well as the others. It may just be that spool. I mean, the spool's fine, but it just, the gappage, I would just as soon have a regular spool. I didn't like the Alpha's Air TW for some reason. I'd used it, and I was like, I can't make myself like it, and I ended up selling it. But anyway, one thing I've never heard anybody comment about, or I just wasn't paying attention, I was looking through the instructions when I got this thing getting ready to, I cleaned it up, and I was like, put the other handle back on. I was like, I think I'll just sell it. Or have it painted, or paint it myself. But I think painting it myself would be bad. But I got my RC paint guy. He might be able to paint it. So anyway, I pulled out the instructions. Yeah, I know. I never read them either. But you got the clamber hyper micro, right? Well, I guess I'd never realized or paid attention. They also make other clambers. I don't know if you guys can see that. They make the hyper micro. They make a long shot. And then they make a high speed purple spool, which is, I guess, more like a SV looking one. And this one looks the same. I don't know why they call it a long shot. I'm guessing they thinking distance, and then just a high speed. That's probably a high, 8 to 1, 7.3 to 1, and then 6.6 to 1. So those aren't like a drawing or whatever. That's a picture of a reel. So they've made them. I don't know where they're at or how you go about getting one. for guys that do, like this reel, and they could, add reels to their lineup, or I'm sure, well, I'm not sure, I'm guessing you might be able to interchange spools. You definitely would be able to change the gears if you want to turn this into a high-speed reel, because they make it right here, 8-to-1. I mean, it looks like the identical same frame. It looks like the same spool size. So, I don't know. I just realized that. To where a lot of these reels, they're just one-hit wonders. They only make, that reel. Like as far as this reel, I don't know in this reel, other than going to a different brand, there's not an option. And even this, they didn't make the PW100 and then other versions to. This is a lot of things. This one, the XF50, I believe, is the same original frame. I think the XF50 is identical to this. It's just, well, it's not identical. I think the XF50 is this frame with this just like that, but that's the part that painted red, and then I think it's got side plates. Is that right? And I think this is the side plate off the XF50. So yeah, technically, but they're all pretty much BFS. Now you could take the XF50 spool, put it in this, then you got a, more line capacity, a little heavier line and all that kind of stuff. But as far as just a clamber, and then it's got its own lineup, of other reels to do other things. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to make myself like this one. I got to get out of here anyway. I really like this reel, and it works fine. But after seeing the issue with the spool weight and the fact that the tolerances aren't, as good as they could be or should be, and this freaking dial. But so far it's been a set it and forget it. I've cast different baits. It just doesn't backlash, and it's fine. So I'll probably, like I said, plan on ordering another one, but it definitely, for you guys wanting, the true creek and stream type fishing, I probably won't be taking that one with me to do that. It'll probably be this guy still, because this guy do it all. This guy maybe also. Like I said, before I put the 2-pound line on it, I never had one issue with it. I've been fishing 2-3 days now with just, durability, see how long they last. If I get a couple years out of them like I did this before, a small part. And that's one last thing as I get out of here. 47 minutes, Jesus. I was just thinking about this today. It's kind of a letdown that you only get a couple years out of a reel. And I'm not sure if I've had 2 years or 2.5 or what. Like at the beginning of 2019, I don't remember exactly when I bought it. This is but we're at the end of 21, and it just went out a few weeks ago. The roller bearing. And I know you can track one down. They're selling them all over AliExpress. I just don't know what size I need. And this one has a better looking built one in it. But here's a plus. For any of you guys that are like, I don't know if I want these cheap AliExpress reels because of whatever issues, this reel just needs a roller bearing. You know what this reel doesn't need? A frame or any other plastic part that is on this. It's held up. I mean, this caught a freaking 7-pound, 12-ounce bass. It's caught probably 50 bass in one day and been fished a couple years, because with the BFS reels anyway, they're not required to be as stout as running 15 or 20-pound tests with the drags cranked tight. So, and then they've just they're, not necessarily China, but as a whole, reels aren't just made out of plastic anymore. They're totally, they claim they're different types of whatever material, but like this reel right here, they polished it and did whatever, but if you look at it when you take it apart, that's not just a regular plastic. That is some kind of extra. They've definitely advanced in the material to where, yeah, it may not be as strong as aluminum and magnesium, but especially for BFS, it's as strong as it has to be, needs to be. And a lot of them still have this. This thing actually still has it. They went ahead and cut the bottom out. Now, back in the day, I can't remember if it was a Black Max or what, but I don't think it was a Black Max, but I had a plastic reel that had this cut out, and that's why they stopped doing it, because and not just me, but several people were literally like ripping this off of, your reel seats. Just, I don't know. It was just insane. But yeah, some of the cheaper plastics. So anyway, as I get out of here, it's kind of a plus for me. That's why I don't really have an issue with dealing with some of these. I know they got their little hiccups, tolerance issues as far as spools, but as far as, this one didn't come with as many bearings as it's supposed to, but this reel does have the option with that. All I have to do is take those out, measure them, and I can buy bearings for here. It's already got 6 where it counts, one here, one there, the roller bearing, one here, one there on your little gear, and then one on the actually nice ones on the spool. So it's hard to complain for $80. And it still works. Now, if it'll go 2 years or so, then one bearing, something goes out like that, in my mind, it's not a big deal. So, as I get out of here, stay tuned to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, you just somehow wandered upon this channel, I'm rambling on, and you're like, wow, this guy's cool, or a goofball. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. Subscribe to the channel. And I know what you're thinking. Don't buy anything else off AliExpress. But guess what? AliExpress, they're having their sale. Like 11/11 is a sale. For those of you that haven't been paying attention, I think they do it every year. But some stuff is a lot cheaper. Like they're knocking off, and I may get a Dark Wolf because I think the Dark Wolf, it's the same reel as this, but maybe Sonora's, told the manufacturer they want, whatever. It may be built a little. Sometimes they're built a little different with a little different components, just like this one. It's got a better roller bearing than the fish band. So I may buy one just because it is all gray and black, and it technically will go with other stuff better than this, or some rods that this just won't look good on. And the Dark Wolf would. And I believe, don't quote me 100%, the 11/11 sale that's coming up on AliExpress, I thought I saw that the Dark Wolf is only going to be $71. I think that's what I saw. 71.50 is something is what I was looking at. Like right now I can get it for 77. I think is where I found it. $77. So it's a couple dollars off. I got coupons or whatever, I guess. But here in week and a half, not quite 2 weeks maybe, it's going to be $71 for basically a reel like this with a touch even lighter spool, supposedly, the way it says, for $71. I think that's what I'm going to do. I've got a cart full of like $1,200 worth of stuff. I'm not buying all that stuff, but I go through there just so I keep track of it. I throw it in my cart just so I know. If you guys have known AliExpress, like, that's why everybody like comments on my, I put something out like, oh, get this. Everybody's like, where's the link? Because you try to punch it in the search and all kinds of stuff, and you cannot find it. And then if somebody shares a link, you're like, oh, there it is. I was typing those exact words, but it never brought it up in the search for me. But anyway, so I browse and look at different stuff. I've got some different rods, several reels. I keep thinking I just want to buy that magic pill. Have you guys seen that reel? And I think it's a Corium, whatever reel also, or their branding is on it. Definitely the spool sucks for true BFS, but it's got a clicker, and it's only like $50, $53, and I think it's going to be $50 or just under $50 when the sale comes up. And here's my thoughts. I'm going to get it, and I'm going to put it on that pink one for Noah because it looks like this. He casts different other things, and if he gets hung on a tree with 10-pound test and he gets to yanking, and he could possibly damage this spool. So I think I'm just going to get and I'll be able to try it out and let you guys know also on the show in case you've been debating about getting it for something. It's definitely not going to be a true lightweight thrower like these others. But I've been looking at that one. And then they also make a reel that has a clicker, but it's not a BFS reel. Oh, I want to say Hunt House or somebody. It looks like I don't know, whatever high-end Shimano one. I can't think of it. I don't know if they've truly copied it or just got it looking close. It looks like the new Akuma that's out and one of the Shimanos. I'm drawing a blank. The solid, like aluminum looking one. This is a plastic reel, but plastic, graphite, whatever. but it's only like, I want to say it's $35 or $37. It's pretty cheap reel with the drag clicker that could be a general all-purpose reel if you guys are just looking for a cheap one that, for your regular bait caster stuff. I'm thinking about buying that one just so I'll know if it's any good or not. What else? I'm waiting for this. I spent $142 on a rod that I'm waiting to get here. It's that purple one. And until I see if I like it or not, I'm not spending any more money. And I've already wasted too much money on these, $45 and less rods. But the Ace Hawk has another, because I do like that CU double. It looks like it's actually built good. There's just rods. The Tomas are right there on the borderline. If you guys are asking me how they're built, like the Tomas, I think they got a guy that's got a decent idea, but they're just, in order to sell them cheap enough, to sell one for $31 and give you 2 tips and be a pretty good rod, they can't just make it, they're not doing quite what Ace Hawk is. I think Ace Hawk actually has a little better overall look and feel, but they need somebody that knows a little bit about style, like that crazy brown. I don't know why they made that with that. I mean, it's okay. I'm going to probably leave it, but it may go bye-bye. And so, yeah, my favorite rod of all, I didn't even buy it. I traded Charles for it, the Zephyr. I would have never bought that rod because it doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't holler and scream by me when I look at the pics of it and stuff. But once I had it in my hand, so there's probably rods like that, all over on AliExpress. They're actually good rods, but maybe they're up there $60, $80, $100, but are very nice rods. Because I actually like the Zephyr. Well, I like all those except for I'm not liking this one right now. And I'm not liking the 6'6" Toma I like, but I think it may be too long. I'm going to just have to take it out and fish it more. But I was throwing cranks on it the other day and it was working good. I got to get out of here before an hour's up. You guys still watching? Calcutta. No, not the Calcutta. Not the Calcutta. Not the Metanium. They got an aluminum looking reel, but it's plastic. I want to say Hunt House. It's got this side is like round and it pops off. And so I don't think it's the Calcutta. It looks like the new Akuma. The Real Test just did a deal on, and because the Akuma looks like a copy of the Shimano one, the solid aluminum bodied Shimano, and then that round piece just pops off. So it's more of a solid one-piece frame. They're kind of trying to copy the round reel, but that's kind of, in my mind, the Shimano anyway did. They took a round reel and a low-profile reel and kind of combined it into the Bantam. Is it the Bantam? I think it's the Bantam. Is that what I'm thinking of? That Bantam reel. It's like a little small, heavy block of freaking aluminum. Well, I definitely don't want one, but I bet it's very well built. I've been debating. You guys let me know if you guys have. I've thought about getting a Corrado because let me tell you this before I get out of here before an hour's up. I've got this reel, and I know the Corrado will not touch this reel. But I'll give you a fun fact. I own the older Calcutta Conquest, the gold ones. I had the smaller ones. They were 50. They actually sold a 50 back in the day. I had the regular 50 and I had the shallow spool 50. Awesome reels. Then actually what they did when they made the 100, those of you don't know the deal on they made the 100, which is basically when they redesigned it, they made the gearbox bigger so they can change the gears. The older ones weren't as, I guess, be able to go as high-speed gears. But they took, which a lot of people need to copy this, it's the side, basically size of a 50 with the outside of 100 is, I think, basically what they did on these newer versions. That's where the Calcutta Conquest BFS or whatever, that one. And then they go up in sizes, 200, 300, whatever, for, you can use them. You could actually use, as you get bigger, swim baiting or ocean or whatever. But The original one was a 50, and they were all gold of the small ones. Then they went up to 100, 200, whatever. But the new 100 is the same palming and overall size, other than that big hunk of, sticking out for the gears. So I've never actually had the newer style hundreds. I had the old 50s, and I had this guy, but what I've never had is a Corrado 70. And I remember, some of you may remember if you were on Tackle Tour back in the day, there was a Pobegrid, I think his name was. Patrick, I believe was his real name. Was a doctor or something, I don't know. I believe he showed me that reel once. I went and bought a TD Ito from him, and I met him at Quick Trip by where I worked, and I'm thinking it was the freaking Corrado 70. He showed it to me. He's like, they really got it right this time. It was like a new reel out, and he was showing it to me. I was like, yeah, I was a Daiwa guy back then. I'm like, yeah, give me my Daiwa. I don't want to see that crap, that Shimano crap. So anyway, I'm pretty sure it was a Corrado 70. I've never felt one. I've heard the reel test talk about how they palm. I think he acts like they palm better than this guy. And I guess I've never handled one, palmed one, or nothing. Yeah, then the early Aldebaran 50s. Like, if you guys don't know, I thought about putting together a little video also one day on the kind of lineage of what I've witnessed anyway as they transferred over the Shimanos and then the Daiwas. But for those of you guys, I guess the most popular still to this day BFS for Shimano has been the old Aldebarans, before this guy. This guy definitely blew him out of the water, in my opinion. But the older one still could be argued as looks better than this, because I'll be honest, when this thing first came out, it's just like this stupid thing. And that's why I think a lot of guys tried to copy this. It's pointy up here and rounded more down there, I think, but it palms so, and that's one of those things, once you get used to it, it just looks awesome to me now. But when these first came out, I didn't like it either compared to the Aldebaran. But see, it's a Shimano 50E is what that is designated as, the Aldebarans. And the 50E has been around in a lot of different reels here in the United States too. So the older Aldebaran, and you've seen it, they got like the black one. The last one they made was the limited or whatever. It's the black with the red spool. Then they made an Aldebaran. Then they made the Aldebaran BFS, and I forget how many years that reel was out. But here in the States, they basically had a 50, and I think they also had 100 and 200s or whatever. But you could get a core, and I believe the core was identical to an Aldebaran. I think it was magnesium frame. Just the outside was basically paint was different, possibly difference in bearings or something a little bit. But the core was over here in the States. You could get the core in two sizes for sure, and one was a 50E. But then also the Corrado. They had a Corrado 50 and then a 200, and then the two, in those sizes. I don't know about the 50E, but for sure the 200E you could get in the 5 or the 7. Like they had different, the gear ratios were different. But that was basically it was an aluminum Aldebaran is what the 50E was, Corrado, and then they turned it into Coronard. And if any of you guys from way back then remember, they basically, Shimano took, not this one, an actual, Aldebaran, basically, an aluminum Aldebaran, they took, and with one swipe, they managed to kill two awesome reels in one swipe of stupid whatever, why they started out with the 50E in a Corrado. But here's what they did. So they got this cool looking green small Corrado, and people like those. Yeah. So Shimano decided, I don't know why, because at the same time they had this cool 50E and then they had 200s, which was basically the wider. It looked pretty much the exact same, but it just was wider. And then they had this cool reel that now is outright, draws crazy amount of price, but they had the D5 or the D7 Chronart. If you guys know what I'm talking about, the white Chronart, it was kind of a bigger reel. If you guys remember that reel. The Chronart guys love that reel. The Corrado guys love the 50. Well, here's what Shimano decided to do. I don't know. And the Chronarch was basically a metanium. They had the metanium over in Japan, and it was also, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's magnesium too. So you had the Aldebaran and the metanium, they were magnesium. When they brought them over here, they turned it to aluminum. You know, they saved money there, and, you know, I guess back then, which nowadays still, you know, the Americans, we aren't worried about weight. Actually, when something felt heavy, it felt, oh man, that's built good. You know, the heavier it felt really back then. We were building some tanks, everybody was. The Zillion, the old Daiwa Zillion was a tank that was over here and lasted a long time. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this story up. The Chronarch was a metanium, just aluminum, but man, it had one of the prettiest paint jobs you've ever seen, and it just worked. That reel worked. The Shimano guys, they're still sought after. Like, there's guys, if they can find one in pristine condition, they buy them up. Like, they're still selling like hotcakes when one pops up for sale. They sell good. Shimano decided to take the 50 off the market. They took the D7, the higher geared one, was more popular. They took that off the market. They came out with the Corrado G. Now, a lot of people say it was a good reel, but guess what? It didn't sell anything like the E's. So they took the E and they turned it into a Chronarch. And they kind of dummied it up. Like, it just didn't look, and, you know, it's a very good reel. And they're kind of sought after, but they basically killed off two very good reels and replaced it with a kind of in my mind, a funkier. It just didn't look as good. It didn't look as good as the Corrado that they pulled it out of that lineup. It definitely didn't look as good as the Chronarch it replaced. And I'm pretty sure their sales weren't that great because it didn't, I don't know, it sold for a while, but it didn't take long before then they started putting in other stuff. And then what came after that, like, I don't know, I guess the 200K is selling good, but I think there's still a lot of people that wouldn't mind if they brought either the Aldebaran, the older style back, or in a Corrado version or whatever. But they claim anyway, the whole point of all this story is the 70, the Corrado 70. I haven't got my hands on one. Feels very good. Now, I've had the core, I've owned the core, a Corrado 50. I've had a few different 50. I think I had an Aldebaran, the older one. It was just silver, like almost this color, but this color looks better. But close to it. So I've been debating. I've got my other Aldebarans, by the way. I'm definitely gonna sell those. I gotta get them listed for sale. And I'm thinking about getting the Corrado BFS. Now, the Scorpion BFS, same thing. And also, if you guys don't know the whole Japanese-American thing as far as the Corrado, all through the years, if a Corrado's over here, in Japan, it's a Scorpion. It's going to be a different color. And the old original Corrado, I believe, were those Corrados plastic? Just the old green Corrado before they came out with the E. I think, was there one? But I think there was a couple before the E came out also. Because I think Corrado, I believe they tried silver, and those reels, they actually had some good reels, like did they call that a Bantam? No, they had a smaller silver Corrado. There was actually a good reel, but it didn't go over well. Like, guys still like their old green Corrados. And I believe they definitely had plastic sides, but they may have been the whole reel was plastic. Or maybe it was aluminum frame, plastic sides. And Jerry Dishner, my buddy Jerry Dishner, when we went fishing several years back, he pops out a brand new, looks brand new, old green Corrado. And if you guys knew Jerry Dishner, some of you guys might, here locally, that guy has always got the oldest RC stuff. He's probably still going around with an RC radio that has an antenna you got to pull out, and it's like 5 foot long. But it was just so funny. He pulled that reel out. And I mean, it still worked good. I haven't had him, let me see that thing. And it cast good. It was a good working reel, but that was kind of cool. And I'm sure they're still going, because the older ones, or like tanks, you can't kill those. Anyway, we're going to try to get this guy back together, because you can't kill a PW100. You can't keep a good PW100 down. All right, guys, seriously, I got to get out of here. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. A lot more coming. Not tonight, though. time for me to get something to eat. I'm starving.